Alright, let's dive into something that's been bubbling under the surface, literally and metaphorically. So, here's the deal. An American oil company with ties to Donald Trump is gearing up to drill in Greenland, and it's causing quite the stir. But here's where it gets really interesting. They're moving forward without official permission from Greenland's authorities. Personally, I think this is a classic case of corporate overreach, but it's also a symptom of something much bigger. What makes this really interesting is how it intersects with Trump's long-standing obsession with Greenland. Remember when he floated the idea of buying the island? Well, this feels like the next chapter in that story, and it's not just about oil, it's about power, geopolitics, and the environment. From my perspective, the timing here is no coincidence. Trump's recent Truth Social post, where he's literally looming over a Greenlandic village, feels like a not-so-subtle flex. It's almost as if he's saying, I'm still watching, and I'm still interested. But what many people don't realize is that Greenland is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, and its natural resources are under the control of its local leaders. So, this isn't just a US-Greenland issue, it's a Denmark-Greenland-US triangle, and that adds layers of complexity. Now, let's talk about Greenland Energy, the company at the center of this. They're claiming there's $1 trillion worth of crude oil under Jameson Land, which, if true, is a game-changer. But here's the kicker. Greenland stopped issuing new oil licenses in 2021 for environmental reasons. So, how did they get in? Well, they're partnering with a UK company that already had exploration rights. Clever, right? But in my opinion, this feels like a loophole being exploited, and it raises a deeper question. How far are we willing to go for resources, especially in such a fragile ecosystem? One thing that immediately stands out is the involvement of Dr. Phil, yes, the TV psychologist. He's been hired to make a documentary about the project, which, honestly, feels like a bizarre PR move. What this really suggests is that Greenland Energy is trying to frame this as some kind of heroic, frontier-pushing mission. But let's be real, drilling in a protected area under the Ramsar Convention? That's not heroic, it's controversial. And the fact that they're bringing in a Trump-linked figure like Dr. Phil just adds to the political theater. What's also fascinating is the role of Larry Sweats, the company's chair. He's got access to Trump's inner circle, and he's been careful to say this project isn't about American annexation. But if you take a step back and think about it, the optics are hard to ignore. Trump's envoy to Greenland, Jeff Landry, is already talking about oil pumping next year. So, whether it's intentional or not, this project is becoming a proxy for Trump's broader ambitions in the Arctic. Now, Greenland's government is in a tough spot. They've issued a strong warning, but they're also not demanding the equipment be removed. Why? Because refusing outright could give Trump a pretext to push his agenda harder. It's a classic damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Personally, I think this is where diplomacy and environmental stewardship need to take center stage. Greenland's leaders have to balance their sovereignty, their environmental commitments, and the geopolitical pressures bearing down on them. If you ask me, the real story here isn't just about oil, it's about the clash of values. On one side, you've got a company and its backers seeing dollar signs and strategic opportunities. On the other, you've got a territory trying to protect its environment and assert its autonomy. What makes this so compelling is that it's not just a local issue, it's a microcosm of global tensions over resources, climate, and power. A detail I find fascinating is how quickly this is escalating. Just a few months ago, this was a relatively obscure project, and now it's making international headlines. That tells me this is a story that's far from over. So, here's my closing thought. As we watch this unfold, let's not lose sight of the bigger picture. This isn't just about Greenland or Trump or even oil. It's about how we, as a global community, navigate the competing demands of economic growth, environmental protection, and geopolitical ambition. What do you think? Is this a necessary step toward energy security, or a dangerous gamble with our planet's future? Let me know in the comments below.